Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music, and it's Gizmo Sunday. And I have Refractions up here in front of me, the best $29 I spent last week. Dave Hilowitz's audio plugin. It's constantly listening, and it's mangling, and it's spitting stuff back out again. Let's take a look at it. Okay, so listen to Refractions in action. So right now it's on basically an electric piano keyboard part. I'm going to leave it turned on. We're just going to start the track. I'm playing a simple keyboard rhythm that's like this. All the other action is happening in Refractions. I'm automating the mix up. I'm automating the echoes up. You can see them moving there. Right? There's the mix moving. There's the ripples moving. So how's this work? It's listening to audio, and it's pitch shifting it by using this little sequencer here. It's also got a low-pass filter. Did you hear that? Automated. Oh, my goodness. Well, what it gives you is an opportunity to create a constantly percolating and evolving texture out of any track you might want to play around with. Here, let's look at the individual controls. All right, thank you, boys. So I have the advanced tab open right now, but let's go to basic. And you can see kind of the 5 important, locales. We could set up all kinds of presets, and we've got fun things that we can choose over here. But listen, let's just look at this. Obviously, mix is how much of the original signal, here's my original sound, gets through. And, I mostly want original signal, I think, at least for this. Now, Refractions is listening to the audio. It's not a MIDI plugin. It's listening to the audio that it's getting sent, and it's grabbing some chunk of it, sort of a granulated sized chunk of it, and then processing it with like MIDI patterns. And we've got a bunch of different patterns right there. Some of them are really melodic. They actually use all 12 tones or 8 tones of a scale. Others, like this one here, are just set to octaves. In fact, octaves and fifths are so useful that David Hilowitz, who designed and produced this, has given us a note filter for seeing all notes, that's all of the half steps, only octaves, or only octaves and fifths. We can set the number of steps up to 25 in this case. We can turn steps off and on. Nothing could happen on step 1. And each of these steps is essentially transposing the audio by that amount. But it doesn't stop there, because if you open the advanced tab, you can see that you can set a subdivision. In this case, it's 1/8 notes, sync to your host or not. You have your beat per minute rate if it's not synced. And you have a delay. The delay rate is, set is kind of a function of the sequencer subdivision. I'm not really sure how this works, to tell you the truth. Spread gives you big left and right, and ripples is, I think, essentially regeneration. It's nice that there's a reverb. I don't care. I'll tell you what I do like, though, is the low pass filter. Although one might wish for a little resonance control, just saying. But in any case, if I just roll on this, and let's go from here, I can really get a different vibe by just changing the pattern. You can see now we're starting at 0 and popping up every step an octave up. Each pattern has its own identity. Now it's popping down. Let's see if we can find a pattern that's a melody. That's a rhythm. Just another little rhythm. Okay, so now we have, what's happening here? Okay, this is going to sound weird, because what it is a major 7 arpeggio. So the whole chord is getting transposed. Not horrible sounding, but a little bit weird, right? I do like that. Well, your brain is probably already spinning, and I wanted to try it on a bunch of different things. So I tried it on this bass line. Let's listen. So here's my bass. It's a UAD synth bass, and here's the bass line without the effect. This is what the editor will do. It'll mostly leave it alone, and then it'll bounce it up an octave every so often. Okay, let's bring it in. Here we go. Looking at the advanced tab, you can see I've got the delay set up and got some regeneration going on. Now, this is worth noting because depending on how I work with the note shape and grain size, the sound is going to be really different. Let's listen to mostly the effect. Now, if I pull the note shape down in size, it gets pretty tight. And if I take the grain size down, essentially the sampling size down, it'll actually start being kind of almost atonal. Sort of weirdly not musical, but sort of fun if I include a high regeneration. Right? It can get pretty wild there. Well, let's listen to another instrument. So I was curious about pads. Let's go over to that. So here's my pad in Fab Filter Twin. Big, thick sound. Pattern number 7 has some, I actually edited it. You can see what it looks like. And this is, again, a 12-step pattern. It's going to be a little bit wacky because it'll turn against the phrase. Here we go, let's bring it in. I brought the note shape all the way down and the grain size up and included some echo, spread kind of wide. This is a pretty, really effective ambient texture. Just love it. Here's the mix at 100%. That's just the mix of the refractions with a lot of reverb. I played around with putting refractions on a reverb send, and this does some really interesting things when you apply it to another effect on, say, an aux channel. Got a giant kick out of doing that. Well, my last question was, I wonder what it would be like on a little kind of drum machine-y beat thing. Well, here's Ting from Clevgran. Basically, it's a bunch of samples of slapping your sofa, although it's very cool sounding. You'll hear what I mean. So that's without refractions on. And then let's bring it in. Here we go. So you can see I worked the pattern on this pretty hard. And this is a great drum sound. Like, just fun for me. Giant kick out of it. Take the mix right up. So this is just refractions. Take the reverb out. Oh, that's so cool sounding. Right? Dave Hilowitz has a terrific breakdown of how he made the plugin on his channel. It's well worth taking a look at. And I got to say, I'm grateful to him for all the amazing work he does. Perhaps in case you don't know, I should mention he's responsible for the development of Decent Sampler, which is a free sampling instrument that kind of is at the heart of Piano Book. And a lot of people are using now to do just kind of wonderful things. And according to him, Refractions came out of his work building that. And, you know, he's a coder, a sweet guy, a great musician, and a terrific YouTuber. Refractions is on sale for, I don't know, depending on when you're seeing this. I just picked it up for the next week. It's going to be $29, and then it's going to go up to $99. Well, you know, this isn't the be-all and end-all of, you know, music making. It's definitely Gizmo, right? But sometimes it's just fun to play with stuff and get inspired. This drum track that we just played, I love. And never would have got there if it wasn't for this really interesting plugin. Well, like and subscribe, ding the bell. You'll be notified when I do my videos, and I'll see you next time.